Hello everyone and welcome to the back room. The past is a foreign country. They do things differently there, if we're to believe L.P. Hartley's 1953 novel The Go-Between. Especially the past when it's predicting the future, if that makes any sense. And especially when it's Infocom's past pitching a future 160 years or so hence, when, according to writer Dave Lebling, there's a strong possibility that you and others like you are flying around the solar system hoping to harvest quantum black holes as an energy source and thereby earn a living. It's just as possible, of course, that the future will actually be populated by dentists, janitors, delivery people, chefs, office workers, street sweepers, exotic dancers, police officers and all the rest, living out the same humdrum lives familiar to us now. All of which is a very long-winded way of saying that the 1982 Starcross, Infocom's fifth interactive fiction game and first in the science fiction genre, leans heavily on futuristic cliches and borrows much of its core idea from Arthur C. Clarke's novel Rendezvous with Rama. Dock with a mysterious ship, explore and ultimately understand its secrets with a view to piling it to Earth and receiving a gift of knowledge that will, to paraphrase, immeasurably benefit mankind. Presumably womankind is somewhere else feeding babies, bitching about work colleagues, or else fretting over hair and makeup choices. And yes, I am aware that in 1982, mankind was an acceptable synonym for everyone. Do I like this game? No, but I like the packaging. The game is logical, granted, but bleak in outlook and presentation, oddly stilted and singularly unable to convey the majesty and wonder of what is supposedly on offer to those beings within the cosmos able to understand and solve the test presented by the owners of the ship that you're now required to explore. But back to the packaging. Though not over-endowed with the famous Infocom feelies, the first release of Starcross shipped inside a 12-inch diameter plastic saucer that more than made up for the obvious lack of other goodies. Ironically, there is no flying saucer mentioned within the game, and that's a fact that is frequently and gleefully pointed out by pundits engaged in online discussion of Starcross. Designed by Infocom's ad agency GR Copy, the saucer was originally thought cumbersome by retailers and a bit cheesy by interactive fiction aficionados, but that same saucer is now arguably the ultimate Infocom collectible. Please note I did say arguably. But by any standard it is certainly collectible. My example is complete, largely intact, but in a rather tatty condition as can be seen here. Tatty because before I realised it was valuable I simply bunged it on a shelf and paid it little attention. The reverse of the saucer is a circle of cardboard detailing the game and pushing earlier offerings such as Zork and Deadline. One interesting nod to the saucer is a line in the specs dedicated to cargo space, which says, "Starcross saucer can be used to store all elements." A nice touch and its only reference. The cardboard is held in place by ridges in the plastic saucer and is carefully pried out with a fingernail to reveal the contents within. Contents which are, it has to be said, sparse by Infocom standards. There's a manual, a map that doubles as game protection, a quick look reference card and the game disc itself. These are held in place by a circular foam cushion which miraculously has not disintegrated over time. The second edition of Starcross shipped in a conventional cardboard box and included a pilot's diary as a feelie. As mentioned, the map serves as copy protection for the game but also presents an interesting puzzle in itself. After reading the computer screen on the Starcross bridge, you'll be given a mass such as UM91 or UM12, which you locate on the map and read off its corresponding values for range, phi and theta. Back at the game, type the values from the map into the Starcross computer and, if all is well, the computer will accept these values as new navigational coordinates and set course accordingly. Locating these values on the map is initially tricky until you get the hang of it. At the top of the saucer is a tiny plastic cord that was intended to hang it up for display. I'm assuming each strand is meant to pierce the strengthened notches in the plastic rather than simply puncture the rim of the saucer, as can be seen here. Well, it's lasted 41 years, so we'll assume it'll last a bit longer. The plastic itself has yellowed, of course, which might respond to retrobrighting, but I certainly won't attempt it. And while it doesn't feel like it's about to crumble, it does feel pretty fragile overall. So now let's break out a suitable Atari 8-bit and drive and give the game a whirl. I bought this 800 in 1996 at the All Micro show at Stafford for the princely sum of £2. It was missing a joystick connector, which I replaced, and with a few other mods including a hard reset button and an extra cartridge connector to complement the two existing ports, which you can just see hanging out of the rear on a ribbon cable. It was my go-to Atari 8-bit development machine in the days when I did a lot of programming. I had an R-Time 8 clock in the right cartridge port, Action in the left, and Spartados X hanging off the ribbon cable. Fortunately, Starcross is readily available as a downloadable ATR disk image. By the way, this is not a complete walkthrough, but it will get you off to a flying start if you're yet to experience Starcross. Also, let me know if you'd like a follow-up showing the game being played to the end. So that's the Starcross SAUCER edition, though of course the gameplay is exactly the same in whichever format you buy it. I confess, having revisited it for the first time in a long time, it's more enjoyable than perhaps I suggested at the beginning of this video. And of course the Atari 800 seen here will now appear in a future repair video. Thank you for watching everyone, see you again in the back room very soon.